All right. Let's have a quick look at the Volvo EX30 pricing in Australia. And I'm going to disclose to you whether or not I think it's a good deal, or whether or not I think it sucks, or whether or not I think something in between. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Sam Evans. I'm the Electric Viking. And it's great to have all you new subscribers. Welcome on board. Welcome to everyone else as well. Phenomenal to see every single one of you. The smallest electric Volvo will be actually relatively affordably priced. Now, keep this in mind, the size is the issue here. It's a little bit smaller than an Atto 3, BYD Atto 3, if you're from Australia. That needs no explanation. It would have when I first started the channel, and I was talking about BYD every second day, and well, I didn't have any subscribers back then. Funny how things change. As BYD rose, well, yeah. Anyhow, the Atto 3, the long-range version, it's around 53,000. The cheapest version of the EX30, which is a direct competitor for the Atto 3 long range, is $60,000, $59,990. So you're looking at about 7,000 Australian dollars more. It does have some advantages, does have some disadvantages. The obvious disadvantage is it's a little bit smaller. The advantages, well, let's have a quick look, and then I'll tell you what I think. The smallest Volvo electric SUV will come to Australia before the end of 2023. You know what's great about all this? Volvo, right? This is a company you should support. I believe you should support them over companies like Hyundai, Volkswagen. As you can see, I make no money from these automotive industry, not a single cent. Otherwise, I wouldn't be saying this stuff, would I? But they're a company you should support. You know why you should support Volvo? They're in on EVs. They're saying 2030, that's it, period. No more gasoline cars. We're going all EV. They'd probably do it today if they could, but it's not that easy. You got to build the infrastructure. You got to build the capability. I don't know how BYD did it so fast. It was amazing. It's hard to do. Volvo are all in though. They're very bullish on EVs. They're constantly positive. Their CEO is always saying EVs are the future. They'll be cheaper by 2026. He says, this is a dude who I fully respect. You got to respect what Volvo are doing. Entry-level model. It's definitely the model that I would be going for. However, you can pay more and get the extended range model, or the, not necessarily extended range, but the more premium model with a different battery, or the more premium model with two motors, one at the front, one at the back. And actually, it's one of the fastest cars you can buy under $100,000. It's an absolute bargain, that car. It's like a hot hatch, but it's faster than any other hot hatch on sale in Australia. Now, all the hot hatch people on the forums and stuff, they're like, no, it's not. The Volvo EX30, everyone's saying that it's going to be super fast, but it can't go around corners. The other question I have for these clowns, how many people do you think actually take their car to a racetrack and actually care about any of that stuff? Very few of the people who buy them. Very few, my friends. Most people care, you know what they care about? A bit of fun. You know what a bit of fun is? Pulling up the traffic light, maybe it's 1 a.m, someone else rocks up in their V8, bang, you're off. And guess what that V8 looks like? A slow ton of bricks, because it sort of maybe is, it's old. And your Volvo EX30 dual motor just flies off into the distance because it can do 0 to 62 miles an hour or 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds, which is basically supercar fast for 70,000 Australian dollars. That's ridiculous. Guess what? There's another car that can do that, but it's a bit more expensive, the Model 3. Speaking of the Model 3, here's where the challenge lies for Volvo. The Model 3 is a bigger car, significantly bigger, and it costs the same price. Well, $1,000 more than the EX30. So you got a tough choice here. Do you want a Model 3 for $1,000 more, about the same range, bigger car, or do you want the new Volvo? Now, there are two different types of car. The Volvo is more of a hatchback crossover type thing, and the Model 3 is a sedan. And most people in Australia don't want sedans. So I think the EX30 is going to sell regardless. It's going to sell very well. Now, speaking of Tesla, Tesla's strategy to have a very, very stripped out interior. The EX30's interior is remarkably similar to a Tesla. It's ditched the screen, the front screen, as Tesla have. The screen that goes, right in front of your eyes, it's gone, just like a Tesla. Now, this is the only car that I've seen in the world that's done that. If you can tell me another company that's done it, let me know, because you'll be educating me on products that I'm not aware of. I do think, though, that the EX30 is likely, I don't know if this is certain yet, but I think it's very likely to have a heads-up display. So it'll be beamed front, into the windscreen. If you've used the car with a heads-up display before, you'll know that once you use a heads-up display, you don't even look at your normal display. There's no real reason to do so. You usually just use your heads-up display because they're better, because it's right in your your line of vision and it doesn't obscure your vision. So I think it'll have one of those. However, it still looks so similar to a Tesla. There's very few buttons, actually almost no buttons, exactly like a Tesla. It's just got one key difference that I can see, which is the screen is put in a portrait position, not a horizontal position. It seems like a lot of manufacturers recently are going for the portrait style. Now, I would have thought you'd want to have it in a horizontal style because of the fact that you don't have a digital screen for the driver, so you want to have that screen close enough to easily see it. If it's obviously in a portrait style, it's a bit further away for the eyes, the line of sight to see. But anyhow, price for the base model, $59,990. Price for the single motor extended Ultra is $64,990, and price for the EX30 Twin Performance Ultra is $69,990. This is a ridiculous bargain. $69,990, that car, that is going to sell so insanely well. It's insane. It's the fastest car in the world that can do 3.4 seconds from 0 to 60 miles an hour. It is actually the fastest. I looked it up. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I don't think I am. The single motor versions, the cheaper versions, have one motor at the front, have one motor at the rear with 200 kilowatts of power and 343 newton meters of torque. And there's a very key reason here why that's an advantage over the Atto 3. Rear-wheel drive is said to be better in EVs for about 3 key reasons. There's 3 reasons that manufacturers are actually switching from front-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive. Volvo, as you know, never made rear-wheel drive cars. I've never heard of a Volvo rear-wheel drive. Have you? I don't think, maybe in the 60s, but since then, I don't think they've ever made them. Now though, changing. Rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. They're the only 2 options Volvo will have in their EV future because EVs actually make more sense with a rear-wheel drive mounted motor. And I made a video on all the reasons why that is. I'll put a link in the description. The dual motor version for $69,990 has 315 kilowatts and 543 newton meters of torque. Kind of scary numbers for a car this size. But even though it's not that, it's not that big, it is relatively heavy. It's about the weight of a Model Y. Maybe just a smidge lighter depending on the spec variant. And it's obviously a much smaller car than Model Y. That's one thing Tesla does do really well, getting the weight of their cars down. Both variants come with a 69 kilowatt hour nickel, manganese, cobalt battery pack. Not a lithium iron phosphate pack. You can get a lithium iron phosphate pack. It appears as though those won't be offered in Australia for the moment. They're going to go with the 69 kilowatt hour lithium ternary battery pack for the time being. And they may offer the smaller lithium iron phosphate battery pack in the future. I think that is actually what they're planning to do from what I've been hearing. There could be a more affordable version of this car come out within the next probably 24 months, 12 to 24 months, because that will be offered in other countries, the lithium iron phosphate battery version. Range is 480 kilometers on the WLTP cycle. So it has a little bit more range, about 25 kilometers more range than the base Model 3, about the same for the base Model Y as well. But if you get the dual motor version, the performance version, the range dips by a little bit, not a lot though, 460 kilometers of range WLTP. Plugged into a DC fast charger, charging is 153 kilowatt. So the charging there, it's a little bit slower, but it is better than some other alternatives, as you know, such as the Atto 3. Charging speed is a bit better than the Atto 3's charging speed, which is only 80 kilowatt, I believe. What are the dimensions? The Volvo EX30 is 4,233 millimeters long. It's 1,837 millimeters wide, 1,555 millimeters tall, and it has a 2650, as in 2,650 millimeter wheelbase. Boot space is relatively tight. It's got 318 liters of boot space, including 61 liters beneath the adjustable boot floor. So it's actually, the boot space you can see will be closer to 260 liters, which is, it's less boot space than a lot of hatchbacks. In fact, all of them except the Toyota Corolla, which has a minuscule boot, but it's less than, like I said, it's a small hatch. That's the one thing I don't like about this car, because I don't know why, I just love boot space, boot size. I always want to put things in my boot, put bikes in my boot, put anything in my boot, whatever that may be. And that would, to me, is an issue for me, having that small boot. However, for a lot of people, they won't care about that at all. What is the weight? The single motor version weighs 1,833 kilos. It's not exactly light, but anyhow. The twin motor version, 2,338 kilos. Isn't it insane that a car weighing 2,338 kilos can do 0 to 62 miles an hour, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.5 seconds. That's just unbelievable, but it can. So the warranty in Australia is 5 years unlimited kilometer warranty. The battery has an 8-year warranty and owners get 8 years of roadside assistance. That's pretty standard. Servicing pricing for the X30 hasn't been confirmed, but maintenance will be required every 24 months. Now, you don't have to service it with Volvo, but you do have to service it every 24 months. They haven't set an actual distance requirement, but every 24 months is still better than every gasoline-powered car in Australia. All of them have 12 months. Some of them have less, some of them have 6 months. So you're going to save a lot of money on servicing. Plus your servicing, you won't need to do all the expensive stuff you need to do to a gasoline powered car. You'll probably save about 60-70% on servicing. You should. If you pay more than that, then you're getting a bad deal. So you should save a lot of money on servicing versus a gasoline or diesel powered vehicle. Standard safety equipment. This is a pretty safe car. In fact, it's a very safe car. It has a lane keeping assist, blind spot assist, autonomous emergency braking with junction assist and pedestrian and cyclist detection, reverse autonomous emergency braking, front and rear cross traffic assist, road sign assist, door opening alert, reverse camera, and parking sensors. It's got a lot of other pretty good standard features. Of course, if you pay the extra $5,000 from that $60,000 amount to get the luxury spec, you're getting a fair bit more for your money. For that $5,000, actually could be worth it, because for $5,000 you get 20-inch alloy wheels, which might degrade the range a little bit. Well, it will a little bit. You get, though, a fixed panoramic roof, which gives you more space inside the cabin, tinted rear windows, a heated steering wheel, a 360-degree camera, park assist pilot, and powered front seats with 4-way lumbar. Pay an extra $5,000, you get the performance model. Now, personally, if it's me and I was going to buy this car, I'd be getting the performance model. I mean, it's all-wheel drive. It's not a lot of money to pay $5,000 to get an extra motor, a whole lot more power, all-wheel drive. If you want to go to the snow, you want to go for a trip, maybe you want to drive on the beach. Yes, you can drive on the beach with any EV, really. As long as you deflate your tires enough, you can do it. Then you can, have that option. That's the model I would choose. Is this a car you should get over the competition? Well, if you want a car with boot space, no. But if that doesn't matter to you, then yes, I would buy this. Software in Volvo EVs is pretty good. Quality is very good. I actually think this is a really strong contender, and it's going to sell incredibly well in Australia, and it should. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.